Assalamu alaikum students. How are you all? Beta, it's our lecture number 10 today, and today we are going to have a lecture from English language. As you know, our syllabus is covered, and now we are just revising the previous lectures so that we can be prepared for our upcoming board exams, inshallah. Hopefully the situations will get better, get better, and we'll be preparing for our exams in the school. Anyways, today's lecture is from the language section. It's a revision of our previous topic. Before moving on to the today's lecture, let's discuss something about the previous one. The previous lecture was just about writing a letter and a paragraph. I think there was no difficulty in that lecture because I didn't receive any comments related to any query. Anyways, let's move on to today's lecture. Today we have our lecture about, rather revisionary lecture about punctuation marks. Remember we did punctuation marks in our grade 8th, and we revised these and had tests of these punctuation marks a number of times. So let's have a quick revision of our punctuation marks. First, let's see what are punctuation marks. Punctuation marks are symbols that help us to organize and structure sentences. Structure sentences, it means that if our sentence would be without any punctuation mark, so it would look like or it would look like a thoughtless sentence. It seems that we don't have any pause, we are just reading, and we are just crammed something and we are reading it. So it helps us to organize our sentences. The term punctuation is derived from a Latin word, Latin term punctum. It means the correct use of points or stops in writing. So where to use stops, where to use different points in writing, it is called punctuation marks. As in our oral speech, we give pauses. Why do we give pauses? So that our conversation should look meaningful to the other person, to the listener, to our listener. It should be meaningful. If we're just reading something while conversation or without stopping, so it would look like a monotony. So that's why we use punctuation marks in writing to identify or to express these pauses. In our written communication, we use punctuation marks. The characters below list some punctuation marks and a few rules. So let's start off with the punctuation marks. Number one is capital letter. It's very easy. Remember where to use capital letter? That's good. We use capital letter at the start of a sentence. It indicates proper noun and it is used to emphasize certain words. For example, all I want is a pastry. Start of a sentence. You can call me Ronnie. Ronnie is the name, proper noun. I want it today. So to put emphasis on the word today, we have written today with capital T. Next is full stop. A full stop marks the end of a sentence. While reading a sentence, we need to pause after a full stop. Like as we are talking and our sentence ends, we give a pause so that the other person can understand what we are saying. It's just giving a pause for the other person, for the listener to understand. And in written communication, when our idea is complete, we stop, we give a pause. There we put full stop. Full stop ends sentences that are not questions or exclamations. A full stop is used at the end of every telling sentence. Means every sentence you are telling, it will be in the need of full stop. If the sentence is not a question or an exclamation. Example sentences. This is an elephant. Idea is complete. It's our telling sentence is complete. So we need to put a full stop. Anne is an excellent teacher. Canada is fascinating country. A full stop. Next. A full stop is also used at the end of an abbreviation. Abbreviated word or between the letters of an abbreviated word. We do not use a full stop with abbreviations formed from the first capital letter. For example, BBC, USA and MA. We do not put full stop between these sentences that are formed with capital letters. But we put full stop in these where there is only first capital letter. Co, etc, eg, ie, number. So there in these abbreviations we use full stop. Next is question mark. It's very easy. All of you know where to use question mark. A question mark is needed after a direct question. The question can be a short word or a whole sentence. We can ask question in a single word as well. Why, where, who. These question words, question tags can form a question and it can be a whole sentence. Question mark end sentences that are questions. Example sentences. Is this your assignment? Understood? Next, exclamation mark or sign of exclamation. What is exclamation? Exclamation mark is used after a strong interjection and after strong imperative sentences which mark certain direct commands. Strong interjections. What are interjections? Hurrah, alas, bravo, wow. So after these strong interjections we use sign of exclamation. And after strong imperative sentences where we are giving command to the other person. Exclamation marks end a sentence that is an exclamation. Don't pick that. It's a command. Hurrah, alas, bravo. There we use question mark, sign exclamation as well. Next we have is quotation or speech marks. We also call these inverted commas. Double quotation marks and close quotations. It marks a direct speech. We use quotation marks in direct speech, means to quote the saying of someone. Quotation mark use marks in close direct speech. It can be double or single. Quotation marks are used at the beginning and end of a phrase to show that it is being written exactly as it was originally said or written. Means the saying of someone. If we are quoting the exact words of someone. Commas and periods are always placed immediately before the closing quotation mark. For example, how are you? So there we put comma right after quotation marks. She asked me. The next one is comma. A comma is used to organize thoughts into logical groups. It indicates a much shorter pause than a full stop. So comma is a shorter pause than a full stop. A full stop is bit bigger than comma. And it helps us to organize thoughts in logical groups. Logical groups means if we are describing more than one thing, so we need to put these in logical order by giving shorter pauses. It separates the different parts of a sentence or names in a list. As I was talking about, that it helps us to list different things. A comma places a pause between clauses within a sentence. It separates items in a list. It separates adjectives in a series. We were late, although it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Two clauses separated by a comma. You will need eggs, butter, salt, and cheese. List of items separated by comma. I wore a red colored long and frilly skirt. Adjectives for a skirt separated by a comma. I hope the things are clear because it's only a revision of our previous things. We are not doing it right now. It's only a revision of our previous lectures. Rather, the work we are already done up with in grade 8. Next one is hyphen. It's a short dash. Be clear that there is a difference between hyphen and underscore. It's a dash between two words. Hyphen connects elements of a certain word, of certain words. For example, two words are connected to make one. Northeast, fair weather friend, X factor. So two different words joined together to mean an other. Next we have is colon. Where to use colon? Colon introduces list. If we are going to list some things in a form of list, we use colon before that. It introduces summaries if we are explaining something. Introduces quotations if we are explaining a quotation. Introduces a second clause that explains or illustrates the meaning of the first. If we are explaining the one clause in a sentence, in a same sentence, where we use colon. We learned the following at the camp. So listing the things: rock climbing, canning and rappelling. During the salsa class, we were told, again the list, dance salsa on any beat or across the beat. My instructor always says, bend those knees. Introducing quotation: the snow hardened, it turned into ice. So, explaining the first clause in the same sentence. Why the snow hardened? Because it turned into ice. So there we use colon. Next, it is semicolon. A semicolon represents a pause greater than a comma. Semicolon is used to separate the independent clauses of a compound sentence. Such clauses are not joined by a coordinating conjunction. These are not joined by these conjunctions. In separating the two clauses of a compound sentence, the semicolon is slightly stronger than a comma. Means it's a greater pause than a comma, but weaker than a period. What is period? Full stop. Remember that the clause before the semicolon and the clause after the semicolon should be complete on their own. Means, what is compound sentence? Depending on two independent clauses. We should be able to replace the semicolon with a period and get two grammatically correct and complete sentences. Means both the clauses should be independent. that if we want to separate those two clauses, we can put a period and make them two sentences. So while separating or giving a pause between two independent clauses, we can use semicolon. Let's take the examples. Semicolon separate two closely linked clauses and shows that there is a link between them. It separates items in a complex list. On Tuesday, the tram was late. The bus was early. So we have two independent clauses. Both are giving their complete meaning. On Tuesday, the tram was late. We can even put a period over here. Means a full stop because the sentence is complete. The second one, the bus was early. It is giving its complete sense. So it is independent clause as well. So there we use semicolon to separate two independent clauses in a compound sentence. Even we can replace this semicolon with a full stop. You can go by an aeroplane, train, and a taxi. Tunnel, train, coach, then a short walk, or aeroplane and a car. So here there are two independent clauses which are separated by a semicolon. I hope things are clear to all of you, but still if you find anything confusing, you can ask me through the comments. The last one we have is brackets. Rather, we can say that parenthesis as well. The other name is parenthesis. I think we have done it with the name of parenthesis, but I have written it with the bracket. Sorry. The use brackets set apart a word, phrase added to a sentence to give some additional information. So brackets are used within a sentence to give some additional information about something that is mentioned in a sentence. Within the sentence, if we have mentioned something and to explain or give further information about that thing that is already mentioned, we use parentheses or brackets. The necklace which had been in my family for years was stolen. Even we can say the necklace was stolen, but we want to provide extra information about the necklace. That which necklace? So to give the extra information about the necklace, we say the necklace which had been in my family for years was stolen. So there we put parenthesis for that purpose. Done. So today's lecture is over. I hope everything is clear to all of you because everything was well explained it was well practiced in the classroom. So hopefully this revision lecture would be useful for your paper preparation. So I'll give you some worksheets in the next lecture. For today, I just want to listen to the lecture and try to practice it at your home on your own. In the next lecture, I'll give you some worksheets for the practice. Okay, beta. Hope everything is clear and Allah Hafiz. Take care of yourselves.